But it should be live on YouTube now too.
Say something. Your mic started tweaking.
Yeah.
Your mic sound like robotic. Go like this to your camera too. Like, just like. There we go.
I was wondering why it was blurry like that. All right. But the mic sounds straight now?
Yeah, mic is good.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely got to get a new cord for this because it keeps doing that. But we live. We here. Anthony Edwards is here.
He's here, man. He's here.
Real parity in the NBA is back, ladies and gentlemen.
For real.
We have not had a back-to-back champion in the NBA since the KD Warriors.
Bro, it's hard to do it, man. It's hard. Like
Harder
that's
than
why,
ever.
bro. That's why. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if I picked the Nuggets to win this series, I probably would have picked them to win it too. So I'm not saying I'm against this, but it's like it's not as simple as just like, oh, they won it last year, they're gonna win it again. Like, it's not that simple. Like, I feel like every year, whoever wins it last year, they're like, oh, who you picking to win it this year? Yeah, you're gonna pick them again. Like, how could they not win it again? You know what I mean? But nah, it's hard to win back to back, man. It's hard.
Nah, it is difficult. But we talked about it in the last episode. This was supposed to be what Anthony Edwards say, the best game 7 ever. And it was looking shaky at first.
It was looking bad.
Cinema lived up to the hype, bro. Lived up to the hype. I'm gonna let you tee it off, bro. What are your initial reactions from what you saw from both teams in this one? Because I think there's a lot of big takeaways from both sides.
Man, where do I even start, man? Where do I start? I mean, I guess, all right, we're just gonna go how the game went. You know what I mean? From the jump, clearly, the Nuggets made it a point of like, listen, we're not gonna let Anthony Edwards beat us. Like, was double teaming him, getting the ball out of his hands, showing him different bodies, just trying everything to kind of throw his rhythm off, and it absolutely worked because his rhythm was off for the whole game for the most part. Making other people beat them. Jamal Murray got his rhythm going, which is a scary sight if you're the Timberwolves. You know what I mean? Like, you want to throw him off as much as possible. He had it going. It seemed like the Nuggets were kind of the normal Nuggets. You know what I mean? Jokic wasn't doing too much. He was getting everybody involved. They was knocking down shots, and they went up big. And the Edwards were struggling. So yeah, that kind of what I noticed in the beginning. Then it's just like they just flipped a switch and locked down on defense. Jamal Murray didn't really do much in the second half in general. Minnesota really just had people step up. Like, you know what I mean? Naz Reid had a fantastic game. Like, listen, Naz Reid, he hooped. Even like a guy like Karl Anthony Towns, he kind of held it down as well. Like, he's gonna do his typical stupid Karl Anthony Towns stuff throughout the game. You can pencil him in for like 4 what was that moments.
Just dumb fouls. Like, how he got some of the worst discipline in the league, bro.
It's horrible, but that's the reason why they got Naz Reid to come in there when he's doing his whole what is that type of moment. So, or fouling out. Even a guy like Gobert, which in the beginning was pissing me off because it almost looked like he was running the offense through Gobert, which was absolutely making me livid.
Disgusting, bro. It was nasty.
I was so mad, but then again, like later into the game, he was actually drawing some fouls. He hit some stupid shots that it was just, I'm be honest, probably flat out luck, but you need a little bit of luck if you want to win the championship. So he actually didn't play too bad, like towards the down the stretch of the game. Realistically, they just locked in on defense. Anthony Edwards kind of used the defense into offense. I believe he stripped Jamal Murray, turned that into a dunk. Kind of got it going from there, hit the 3 to go into the fourth. Then kind of the whole Timberwolves team kind of rode that momentum going into the fourth quarter and kind of never looked back. So realistically, it was just a matter of, we don't really have it going offensively. Our guy doesn't have it going. Let's do what we do and lock in on defense and then use that to kind of turn our offense up. So that's kind of the main things that I've seen from this game.
Cam, shout out Cam in the Fat Cat spot. He in the chat on IG say he knew the game was over when Gobert hit the Dirk fade.
I was like, there's no way he just made that. There's absolutely no way he just made that, bro. Like, what
I'm looking at my TV like this. At least 30 seconds. I could not believe. And He didn't even just make it like he really
It was
swished it. Nothing but
cash.
that with
It
the
was
worst,
cash.
jankiest looking form ever, bro.
Bro, Gobert got some of the luck. The end one was like he just
And it
threw
was
it
a
up there.
nasty and one. Like he blew what should have been the dunk, and he just and it went in the rim.
Bro, bro, somebody said on Twitter, somebody said, bro, if you give Gobert a basketball and lock him into a gym and say you can't dunk, by the morning he'll have 6 points. Like
If
he's
that, bro. If that,
bro, his
bro.
offensive game is non-existent. Bro, when he's giving you, he made some free throws down the stretch. He made some absolutely lucky shots. I guess all of that is a plus because, like I said before, you got to you. There's some sort of luck that goes into winning a championship and going on a long playoff run. So you know what I mean. You need that on your side sometimes.
No, you said the biggest thing, right? Like Ant struggled big time in this one, and it wasn't even you can't just blame him as much as it was a lot of times the Nuggets trapping him to get the ball out of his hands, which was a lot of what happened in Game 5. Um, and they really stuck with that to try to have it be a anybody but Ant beat us. And I in the video I just recorded, I said I think this was not by the box score. I'm sure he's had better box scores. I can't remember off the top of my head, but from impact, I think this was the best playoff game Karl Anthony Towns has ever played in his
For
career. Like
sure.
when you consider all the context of the magnitude of the moment, you're on the road in Game 7 against the defending champs. The and he didn't even have a great shooting night from the perimeter. I think he's like 1 of 5, 1 of 6. I think I have it pulled up here. Yeah, 1 of 6 from three. But his his effort on the glass to have 12 rebounds. Obviously, he has the huge putback dunk at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But his aggression to get downhill, more than anything, though, I think it's fair to say he was the best body up defender on Jokic the entire night. Like
For sure.
he was able to prevent himself getting back down under the rim in ways that Rudy really hasn't the entire series. And that genuinely was a big reason. Really, it sparked that third quarter turn for the Timberwolves. Those consistent stops that they were able to get on that side of the floor. If you go back and look at that, it's almost all Cat working around the free throw line, just refusing to get bullied easily all the way down to the paint. So, like you said, aside from some of the ridiculous fouls, like the one that he had where he reached in the cookie jar for no reason at Jokic on the perimeter, like outside of that, just the impact that he had on both sides of the floor was huge. You mentioned Nas Reed, bro. The Nas. Whoa. We back? Hold on. You good? Say something?
Yo, we back.
Yeah. I don't know what just happened. The Wi-Fi just tweaked out on my side for a second. The IG tweaked out too, but I think
I was
we
about to
good.
say, okay, as long as we good, as long as we still alive, as long as we good.
Bet. But no, like the way that he can come in and swing a game, he's 6 man a year for a reason. Um, he was huge in this one. Jaden McDaniels, I think he only missed 3 shots in this game. Like his shot making was massive.
Mm-hmm.
Like just from start to finish, everybody on Minnesota was so locked in. Even when the shots weren't falling for them, they never really seemed like the effort from their end was wavering. They were like relentless effort. And then in that third quarter, once they started to turn the tides, you just could start to feel it. Like once they cut into the lead a little bit, it was like, bro, that run is never ending. I didn't see a lot. Where the Mike Malone timeouts at? I didn't see a lot
That's
of those
true.
when was going on.
That's true.
And once they took that lead over, man, they didn't give it back. They gave up 37 points in the second half alone.
That's crazy.
Scored 32 in the fourth by themselves, gave up 37 in the whole second half.
That's
Generational
crazy.
defensive performance by this Timberwolves team
Flat out
in
locked
this
in.
series.
They locked in, but that was the key to honestly. This whole game it really stuck with me. What I'm not sure if you've seen like what I think Kenny Smith said it. He said it again this game, but he also said it for another game when it comes to just winning a championship and being a championship level team. is having those role players that will step up and hold it down on nights that your star player doesn't have it going. And then even if it's just a simple case of like, listen, just keep us in the game, and then our star player eventually is going to get it going and take us home. And that's kind of what happened this time. Because honestly, it's really just credit to, like I said, everybody on the Timberwolves kind of stepped up, did their part. Karl Anthony Towns, I agreed, played his best playoff game in general, just as far as impact, holding it down, even when it didn't have it going, even in the beginning, on the defensive end, later in the game, rebounding, just everything in general. Yeah, it was honestly just a full team effort, man. This Timberwolves team as a whole is just a complete basketball team. That's really what it is. Like, to be able to win a game 7 on the road against the defending champs and the best player in the world with your star player shooting 6 for 24, 2 for 10 from 3 is ridiculous. Like that just shows how good this team is. It's wild, man. Because like that's why you need these guys to step up, because nobody's really gonna care that Ant shot 6 for 24. Now if they
No,
lost this game, Ant's getting killed. You know what I
right.
mean? So shout out to the Wolves for actually stepping up and holding it down. But to me, that's kind of the biggest thing in this game.
I want to take it to the flip side and talk about the Nuggets a little bit because, like we said in the last episode, what was going to be the key for the Nuggets to win this game? They needed to have particularly Jamal Murray step up. Jamal Murray stepped up. It was inconsistent in that he came out really hot and he really cooled off a lot in that third quarter, and not even from a shot making perspective. Like, it wasn't like he was missing. He just wasn't getting looks or taking looks. He wasn't looking to be aggressive to score. And again, a lot of that contributed to the Timberwolves being able to get back into this game. But at the end of the day, 13 to 27 from the field, 35 points. If you would have gone into the game and heard that was going to be a stat line, you would have felt pretty confident as a Nuggets fan. I do have somebody that I mentioned it before. What was Michael Porter Jr. going to do in this game? Because he's been real quiet, and a lot of it had gotten swept under the rug because they were winning. They had rattled off 3 in a row, but he had really struggled shooting. And he's another one of those guys who, yes, he has length, yes, he can rebound and defend, but if the shot isn't falling, I don't know if the value is there. And it's tough to say because, yeah, he fits so perfectly. When the shot is going and he has that flamethrower, the Nuggets feel unbeatable. When he's bricking these shots, personally, if I'm Mike Malone, this is game 7. I don't know. You might want to throw somebody else in there.
Who, though? Like,
so that I get that, because it's like their team is young. Bro, paying Watson.
But it's like,
if you're just looking for offense, Justin Holiday has had some spurts of knocking down shots. In this one, it felt like, and it would be one thing if this was a one-off thing for Michael Porter, but like, I'm gonna look at his game log all the way back from, was it game 4? Game 4, they win, right? He took 4 shots, 2 for 4. He had 4 points. Game 5, they win again. He had 6 points. He went 2 of 10 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. Game 6, they get mollywopped, ran in Minnesota. He has 8 points, 3 of 9 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. Game 7 tonight, 7 points, 3 of 10 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. And he's like chucking these threes. Like he's you know what he is. He's Michael the possession stops here, Porter Jr. Like, he's going to let it go regardless.
7 to 10.
It hasn't fallen for him in 4 games. So obviously hindsight is always 2020. If they win, we're not having this conversation like at this magnitude. I understand that. But the reality of the situation is the reality of the situation. He put up a stinker for 4 straight games from a shooting perspective. And for a guy who is like, that's what he's on the floor to do, is to beat a flamethrower. Like, if it's not falling, it's hard for me to see the value there. So we talked about needing him and Jamal Murray to step up. Jamal Murray stepped up in a huge way. Jokic gave you what he could do, with the defense that was being played against him. Like, as hard as Naz Reid and Cat and Gobert were guarding him up, for him to wrap up with, I think he had 35, 36 points too. He struggled super crazy from the 3-point line in this one, but they literally were daring him to shoot. So it's like, you got to take him. He knocked down a couple, but 2 of 10 from 3 is tough. But outside of that, he's pretty efficient from the field. If you remove the threes, he was killing Gobert on the glass for most of this game. He almost had 20 rebounds, still had 7 assists. But it's just those little things along the way. In a game like this, where we just spent all this time talking about how Minnesota's team from top to bottom, everybody that came in was contributing. Like, you need everybody to be a contributor. And Michael Porter Jr. was a no-show. KCP on the offensive end did knock down a lot of shots. So it just this super dominant starting five, like, they had some no-shows in the most pivotal time possible. And it cost them in the biggest way. And now Jokic can go back to Serbia and with his horses and chill out for the offseason and no back-to-back champions again.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed it. I mean, the biggest thing is no production from anyone else outside of Jamal Murray and Jokic. You know what I mean? Like, no one else was even in double figures. Like I said, Michael Porter Jr. had to step up and specifically against this type of team in the Minnesota, to where you need the whole team doing well, like you said. Getting no production from him specifically, but just no one else in the starting five is bad, especially when you have really no bench production ever from this Denver team. You know what I mean? That was already their concern going into the playoffs as a whole. And that kind of came to fruition because they end up with 5 bench points this game. They just really haven't had anybody off. Like, they have people give them good like minutes at times. Christian Brown gives them good minutes, but when it comes to just scoring off the bench, they don't really get any of that. So in that situation, you would need your starters to always be contributing. So anytime that, honestly, if you don't have at least 3 of them, I'd say playing well, it's tough because normally, I would say in this playoffs, like Aaron Gordon's been stepping up. Like, there's been times where he's been the second best player on the team. He's been stepping up, but as far as those crazy like scoring games that he had, like, that's not that sustainable. You need a guy like Michael Porter Jr., where that's his role, that's what he's supposed to do. He should be the guy that's stepping up and contributing from that aspect. So, I mean, we've seen it though. We said, listen, you get at least one of those guys between Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray to get it going, they probably win this game. I mean, we still weren't wrong, because when Jamal Murray did have it going, they were up 15 going into halftime. It's
Right.
when he ended up not doing anything in the second half that's when the tide turns a little bit. So it's even, like I said, if Jamal Murray has not even a crazy first half like he did before, if he has like 70% of that, who knows? In the second half, who knows? You know what I mean? But credit to Minnesota's defense. They locked in and made it a point to, look, you're not going to beat us either. So if you're the Nuggets, man, it's crazy because it's like now we're going into the offseason. People are going to be like, oh, well, they need to add this. They need to do this and that. And when going into the playoffs, there was this unbeatable, crazy starting five.
We struggling to find flaws with this Denver team.
Right. Now, all of a sudden, there's like, they got a hole here. They got a hole here. It's like, you know what I mean? Now, all of a sudden, they got problems. So it's going to be interesting going into the offseason.
They ran into the one team that was constructed with beating the Nuggets and Jokic in mind.
That's true.
As many times as we talked about that from last season, we got on the Warriors a bunch because it was like, y'all are trying to make these moves to contend. Y'all getting smaller against the best player in the league, being a 7-foot man from Serbia. Felt like the Timberwolves were one team that really were like, no, we're gonna pay Nas Reed. We got Cat, we got Gobert. We're gonna pay Nas Reed. We need 3 7-footers, legit 7-footers, and they're reaping the rewards of that now.
It's crazy because, like you said, the funniest part about it is it really might just be the Timberwolves, because you probably feel the same way. I feel like they could have beat anyone else in this playoffs. You even said it. You're like, the winner of this series is winning the finals.
I
Meaning, like,
still feel that same way. Congratulations to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
but that
Anthony
means
Edwards about to hoist that Larry O'Brien. I don't see anybody else beating whoever won this series. I really feel that strongly about both of these teams.
I hear you. It's just definitely not a bad point. It's just crazy because it's like anyone else besides the Timberwolves, you could see the Nuggets beating in the 7-game series. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like, it's just funny how the Timberwolves, like you said, were constructed so perfectly that they are the one to bring out those flaws, which then going into next season, because obviously you never count the Nuggets out, regardless of whether they lost the series or not. You might have more teams starting to bring in more bigs or construct their team in a way to. Well, I mean, they're going to have to do, especially if the Timberwolves win this series, they're going to have to do it for the Timberwolves anyway. But they're
Right.
also going to be like, look, we might as well get more bigs anyway, just in case we run into the Nuggets. So teams might be looking to, actually construct their teams in a way to beat these two teams. Which and then the Nuggets are going to have to find a way to improve and move on from there. So it's going to be definitely an interesting offseason. I'm curious to see what the discourse around the Nuggets are going to be. But yeah, it's going to be interesting offseason to say the least.
Yeah, Tim Connolly is he's cooking, bro.
He is.
Constructed one of the best offenses ever, and then dipped and said, "Let me go make the one team that can stop that," and pulled it off.
He's just having fun, bro. He's just having
Bro,
fun.
he
He's
just
challenging
playing my
himself.
league right now.
Yeah, he's challenging himself, bro.
Right. We in his sim, bro. We not even. It's not the NBA. He just doing whatever
It's
he
not
wants.
for real.
Crazy. With the Timberwolves winning this one, it sets up a Western Conference Finals matchup where we are getting Luka versus Anthony Edwards.
Ooh.
Initial gut feelings about this playoff matchup.
The playoff matchup or the Luka versus Ant? You just talking about the playoff
Both.
matchup? Huh? The playoff matchup, I got the Wolves winning for sure. Like I think I listen. I'm not gonna say Wolves in 5. I'm gonna say Wolves in 6.
I
Out
have
of
Wolves in
respect,
6 as well. That was
I,
I video I just recorded. I said the same thing. I was like, I haven't deep dive. Like the game just ended 20 minutes ago. I got Wolves in 6. That's just gut feeling.
I'm about to say that's just initial reaction, just how I'm thinking about the way the Wolves are playing, the way the Mavs are playing. Give me the Wolves in 6 because definitely feel like Luka's gonna get you at least 2. I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as that matchup is gonna be interesting. I don't think I actually Anthony Edwards said it like the post game. He was like, my matchup is Kyrie Irving, which is gonna be very very interesting. I love the fact that I love the fact that he's a star player, the best player on the team and he's taking on that challenge of guarding
Right.
your best guard. Like he's gonna take on that challenge. Like he even said, like, look, I'm not a guy that's just gonna score. Like I made an impact in the third and fourth quarter because I guarded Jamal Murray and I shut him down. Like, that's what he said. So that's gonna be interesting from that aspect. Just initial thoughts about the matchup in general from the teams. Um, it's going to be interesting to see how the Mavs deal with the size aspect of it because they do have two guys that are athletic, can jump, can rim protect a little bit, but not like huge bodies. I should say they're more just kind of athletic rim protectors in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see how Luka deals with the defense, the overall defensive physicality of the Timberwolves. Obviously he's better than Jamal Murray, so he's gonna handle it better, I would say, because obviously Luka's of that caliber to where he's the type of guy where I can see him just still getting his numbers, still doing his thing, even though this Minnesota defense is doing well. But they're gonna be swarming, they're gonna be all over the place. They're gonna be all over a guy like Kyrie Irving as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see if people like a PJ Washington, you know what I mean, can step up and have those at least similar level performances that he did in the Oklahoma City series to where if you're the Mavs, you need those guys to step up because I don't think that Luka and Kyrie alone are going to be able to beat this Timberwolves team, who clearly, as you can see, play as a whole entire team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be interesting. I want to see how that works. I want to see how the defense works. Or no, actually, I'm more curious about how the Mavs offense works against the Minnesota defense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think to me that's the biggest thing is can the Mavs actually get those other guys to continue stepping up and playing well because they're going to need to be an entire team, an entire unit to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I think it's going to be a good series. I feel 6, but I think even if it doesn't go 7 and it does go 6, I think it's going to be a hard fought 6 games either way. I think no matter how it shakes out, 5, 6, 7 games, I think it's going to be hard fought. The Mavericks are playing phenomenal defense as well. Like I've been super impressed with what PJ is doing, what Derrick Jones Jr. is doing, what Gafford and Lively did in this last series against the Thunder. Like they were huge. I think the Timberwolves present a different type of challenge. Like they were able to stagger Gafford and Lively's minutes in this series, and with the Thunder not having a backup big, and even when Chet was in, like they really could abuse the glass, and then obviously those lob passes at the dunker spot between the two of
Mm,
them. Conversely, now, like you have to think about, there were times in this game, and there's going to be stints in this series where you might legitimately have Nas Reed, Towns, and Gobert all on the court at the same time, or even if it's just a combination of the two. Even you guys, even think about if it's no Gobert and you just have Cat and Nas Reed, you have two guys who can be dominant to an extent on the inside, can crash the glass, can be physical in the paint, but they also can play off of the perimeter and take you off of the dribble.
Right.
So I don't think we've seen Gaffer or Lively have to get stretched out that continuously in a series. Obviously, in the first round, we're going against a Zion Williams Pelicans team and playing against Valanciunas. And then in this last one, they're playing against Chet, who can space the floor, but younger, not as physical. And obviously, on the other end, we're just so much easily able to dominate him on the glass. But that's been OKC's recipe the entire season. I
Mm-hmm.
think this Timberwolves matchup presents an interesting setup for them to have to be more versatile on the perimeter in ways we haven't seen from him this postseason. I think Lively matches up a little bit better just with his athleticism and how he was playing so far in this playoffs, even going back to his time in college, just being able to step out on the perimeter and use his speed. But I think it'll be hard fought. But again, this Timberwolves defense is just so ridiculous, insane. And I think the size that they bring, like, it's if you don't have Gafford and Lively on the floor at the same time, I don't think Maxi Kleber is going to be back in time. I think he's still hurt. So it's like then you leaves you with PJ having to guard one of the 7-footers. That
Exactly.
could present some problems. And then if you have to play Gafford and Lively at the same time, that hinders the offense to an extent because the spacing gets all out of whack. So Jason Kidd has got a dilemma on his hands for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested to see what he does. Obviously the way that he guarded Shea this last series was really good, and I think he came up with a really good defensive game plan to pack the paint against him, and made very conscious decisions on who he was going to let get their shots off for OKC. So I think he'll cook up something that is decent, and it'll be a scrappy series, but ultimately, I just think personnel wise, it's going to be too much on Minnesota's end for Dallas to overcome, and especially with Luka being hobbled. Like we've seen a couple of those, Luka Magic performances, but you can just tell he's not 100%. No one is 100%, but he's banged up for real. So I think just the combination of all of that makes me really lean Wolves in this one.
Yeah, for sure. And it's gonna be, like I said, a big thing too is the fact that he is hobbled going up against this physical Minnesota defense who's gonna be able to throw different bodies at you and all our elite defenders. Obviously Luka's still gonna get his. He's still gonna have his games, but it's gonna be interesting to see how he handles that. Even like a guy like Kyrie who hasn't been playing like lights out. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be interesting to see how he gets that going. It's just, I agree with you. I just think it's going to be interesting and tough matchup wise for the Mavs. But I mean, you can never count out. I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Luka just goes off and it just has one of those series where it's just like, listen, I was destroying Paul George, Kawhi, and all them when they were trying to throw up multiple bodies at me, good defenders at me. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes off. But in reality, just off the way these two teams are playing, I just lean the Minnesota side. I just like the way they're playing. I like their versatility. I like the way they match up against the Mavs. I like how they can beat you multiple ways, as evident by this game 7. So it's definitely going to be interesting, though. This series is going to be very, very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, the other thing I'll say is I'd be hard pressed to imagine that you get the type of offensive output that you got from both PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. for another series. Like
That's true.
that felt like they caught lightning in a bottle a little
PJ
bit.
Washington had some games where he was like he had 29 one game, he had a
Right.
high 20s another, like he was hooping.
Yeah, I think and look, I love to be proven wrong. Like it's not no knock against either of them. I'm more confident that you could get that type of output from Nas Reed and Mike Conley and like the others on Minnesota versus if it's outside of Luka and Kyrie, like just Tim Hardaway Jr. coming in and giving you a flamethrower, like the offense gets a little skeptical. And obviously, again, a lot of that got carried by PJ in this Thunder series. So we'll see if it continues, but I definitely still have question marks there for where our offense is going to come from.
I feel you.
Um, Briefly, do want to touch on the Pacers Knicks game, which ended just in the most horrible fashion for New York, man. Like for a team that had the injury bug really all season with Mitchell Robinson early on and then Julius, and it just like when it rained, it poured for them. You lose Bojan in the playoffs, then Josh Hart got the ab strain, OG pulls his hamstring, and then the icing on the cake in the worst way possible, Brunson breaks his hand. Like you just, we said it in the last one. They literally just run out of bodies, and they actually ran out of bodies. You can't. Brunson was the last one. If anybody couldn't have gotten hurt, it was him. And the
For
game was
real.
already in a tough spot. OG tried to give it a go, but was not. He ain't look right.
He was limping from the tip off. I was like, bro, how did this man get cleared? Like, I'm
Did you
watching, bro.
see?
I'm like, what?
Did you see him on the bench like before the game started?
Bro, yeah,
Zooted,
some people say it was hilarious, bro.
zooted, bro. They had him on the painkillers.
Hey, bro, say he don't even know his name right now, bro.
Um, a valiant effort from DiVincenzo, who was sparking it all playoffs. He almost had a 40 ball, but look, it's too much to overcome with these injuries, unfortunately. And like all credit to Josh Hart for thugging it out and playing 37 minutes on a abdominal strain. That most people sit this game out, no
Hmm.
matter what the game seven or not. Like that's just a hard injury to play through. For him to almost play 40 minutes with that, you got to tip your cap to the effort that he gave this entire series. But they just could not avoid the injuries all the way to the very end. And the Indiana Pacers are in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, man, credit to them. I mean, it's tough. Like I said, the injuries definitely played a huge factor. Like the guys, we said, we were trying to talk about a Knicks Boston series, and was like, bro, we don't even know if they're gonna make it as far
Right.
as like players. That's exactly what happened. But I mean, if you're the Pacers, you play who's in front of you. You know what I mean? They still went out, they still won this game. Like they made it a point to where, because on the road, their defense has been suspect. They don't play with the same intensity that they do at home on the road, but in this game they definitely made it a point to do that. Like the whole game was just 94 feet ball pressure the
Yep.
entire game. Like, listen, we're gonna try to be as physical as we can with Brunson, show him different bodies, even if it's him coming off a screen. We're gonna hedge super hard. Him even bringing the ball up the court, he's gonna have to work for it. So they made it a point to just be annoying, be a pest, be physical with him. That like helped throw him off his game at least a little bit, at least enough, I should say. So they were active on defense. They also were hitting absolutely everything. It seemed like the guy, bro, they could not miss. It seems like every shot felt like it was going in. Like it was a mid range, a three. Siakam had it going early, which is good to see. Tyrese Halliburton. I literally texted you because I don't know if you've seen it because I know you was at the game. I don't know if you've seen it when he went up for the layup. He had an open layup and like did a 360 and passed it out to the corner. I texted you, I'm like, bro, he's pissing me off, bro. Like he like scored a ball. Literally after that, he scored 10 straight points and was
Yep.
just insane from there on out. So he was talking crazy, he was talking junk. I like when he gets in that mode where he's kind of feeling himself a little bit. Like the same time when it was closer to beginning of the season when he kind of did the Dame time thing when they played the Bucks. Like when he gets in that
Mhm.
mode and remembers that, yo, I'm actually like one of the best guards in the league, is good to see because he's that talented to where he can go off on any given night. So it's a combination of all those things, and then the injuries to the Knicks. It was just too much. Like it was just way too much for the Knicks to handle. And it's funny because you mentioned it with DiVincenzo, but like even though they were depleted, everybody's tired. Even the guys that was on the court, like Hartenstein and DiVincenzo, they were limping. Everyone was tired. They still had guys trying to step up and play for them. Like Alec
Yep.
Burke was hooping.
Alex
Even
Perks was working.
DiVincenzo was hooping. Like even then, they still had guys step up. So it's just unfortunate. They really just ran out of bodies. So it's a little bit tough. Hopefully, next season hopefully Tips can like not play these guys 50 minutes every game on like a random Tuesday in January. Like, can we not do that to kind of give these guys a little bit of rest going into the
Yeah.
playoffs? But yeah, they just got killed with the injury bug, man. That was kind of the biggest thing I'd say.
It's tough though, because even like a lot of injuries that they sustained are not even like related to heavy minutes. Like The Mitchell Robinson one, like he rolled his ankle. Brunson just broke his hand. Julius Randle, like his shoulder got caught up. It's just like they just got super unlucky, bro.
That's no,
Super
it's definitely a
unlucky.
combination of luck. It's not strictly just like to play these guys. Oh, they got
Yeah.
hurt. But I mean, you got some of it. You could say kind of goes into
You
affecting
did
these guys
have
for a little
two
more.
different muscle strains with OG and Josh Hart. Like those, you could definitely chalk up to just overuse and stuff. So, like, I ain't a trainer. I don't know what the official diagnosis is going to be, why it happened. But at the end of the day, like you said, they really just ran out of gas, ran out of bodies. And if you're the Pacers, you can only play what's put in front of you. And so they taking advantage of the opportunity. I think we both said it on the last one. This feels eerily similar to the Hawks Eastern Conference Finals run, where it's like, did anybody really think this team would be here right now? No, but they
Mm-hmm.
there. I don't know how competitive this series against the Celtics is going to be. My gut reaction is to also say it's going to go 6 games, but not the same type of 6 games that Mavs Wolves, my prediction would be. I think it's going to be the 2 games that the Pacers win, or it's going to be 2 bad shooting nights for the Celtics. Because when you live or die by the 3 like they do, against a team like Indiana who plays just so fast paced and get out in transition, like that's I just feel like you're gonna get 1 or 2 perfect storm games where it's like they're not hitting anything. Like Indiana's just ripping it off the rim and running and pushing pace and getting easy baskets. So I feel like that'll happen twice, but the Celtics are going to probably be able to dominate them fairly easily in the rest of these games. So I wouldn't be surprised if it went 5. I don't think they would get swept at worst. I think they get gentleman sweep, but 5 or 6 games, and Boston will get them up out of there. That's my gut feeling. I don't really know what could change that.
I feel the same exact way. I picked Boston in 5, but the any game they lose in this series is going to be because Boston lost. Like
Right,
no disrespect to the Pacers, but like you're really not supposed to be here. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Don't get me
right.
wrong, you played great. You only thing you can do is play who's in front of you. Like that's not your fault.
Mm.
But in reality, it's like if Boston loses like Boston loses 2 games, I will agree. It probably is going to be a Boston bad shooting night, or just like Boston just has those games where they just give games away, which is so weird for a team that's
What
so good.
happens when you play that Missoula ball, live by it, die by it's got to be the 3.
Yeah,
Sometimes when you don't drop, you lose games that you really don't have business losing because you just are so heavily reliant on getting it from the 3-point line.
that's true. So I hear you. I just think I only think they'll have one of those games. Like if I just had to predict, I wouldn't be surprised if they had 2 of them. But yeah, I think that Boston wins this comfortably. So I'd say
Right.
5. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 6. But in reality, like Boston's going to the finals. Like that's just set in stone.
Yeah, it's been felt like it's been set in stone for a long time. And just the way that the East has rolled out, like they didn't.
They
We're
playoffs
going
ain't even start yet.
right. We're going into this playoffs thinking about, okay, at least Boston's gonna have to go through one of Milwaukee or Philadelphia. They don't have to see either of them.
Or the
Then it was like,
Knicks.
well, right, and then it was like, okay, but they're gonna have to go through Brunson and the Knicks. They don't even got to see them either, bro.
which
Um,
it which is funny because people's trying to like get mad at the Celtics or and Tatum because they had like a cakewalk to the finals, which is again, how can they control that? Which
right,
is and again, that's the reason why you get the 1 seed, bro. So you can play
right.
the
That's why
easiest
you win
matchups.
64 games so that
Exactly.
you get the easier matchups all the way to the finals, bro.
That's the
Like
point.
people did the exact same thing to Denver last year. Like, and people don't learn from this. Like, what do you even gain from that argument? At the end of the day, if they win a championship, like Denver won a championship, who's gonna care that they had the easy run to the finals? The ring is the same. Like the championship is the championship. The discourse around it about being an easy run or it's a Mickey Mouse ring, like all of that is just stupid noise, bro. It won't mean anything if they are able to get it done in the end. So you can only play who's in front of you. Well, as a fan, would I have liked to see a healthy Milwaukee team or a healthy Philly team or even a healthy Knicks team go against this Boston team? 100%. That ain't the way it played out. It wasn't in the cards. And so
It is
they
what it
get
is,
Indiana.
man. It is what it is, man.
All
It is
right.
what it is.
But like I said, um, either Luca Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brown, and Jason Tatum, or even Tyrese Halliburton, somebody getting their first ring.
That's crazy, man. Some like it's destined that one of these young guys is getting the ring, man.
Yep.
That's lit. The NBA is that a good spot? You know what I mean? Is that a good spot?
And Tatum is, I know we always joke, was he 19, but he is only 26 and just recently turned 26. And I'm pretty sure he's the oldest one of that group. So
Listen,
somebody 26 or under is getting themselves their first ring.
he don't have no excuse. Like this is the bro. This is it, bro. I'm telling you, if y'all don't win, if you're Boston, if you don't win this, you're never winning it. I'm be honest with you. If you don't win this one, you're never.
I don't think that. I think that's what people are gonna say, but I think at the same time it's like,
bro, it's like
wait. You peeped how the discourse between the Celtics are, like you just said, it's like now or never. They've been here so many times, they gotta get it done. Bro, he's not that much older than Shea. He's only like a couple months older than Shea. And we talk about the Thunder as like the young blossoming team with this crazy future. It's like, bro, the timelines ain't that much different.
But the thing is, they have so much more experience. They have older players, veterans on the roster that's been there. They have Drew Holiday, who's won a chip. Al Horford, who's a dinosaur. They got like guys who has experience, and they have the path. Like, don't get me wrong, the path to the finals is easy. It is like whatever.
Yeah.
But also, you're not going up against a team that has the same experience as you, bro. If you go up against the Timberwolves, even though me and you both think that the Timberwolves, I'm pretty sure we would both pick the Timberwolves to win. Their best player is 22. Like, you still should win that series. You know what I mean? They got Cat, who is gonna do Cat stuff. Like, you should win that series in reality as a 64-win team who's been to 100 conference finals and a finals before. You should win that series. If you go against the Mavs, you should win that series as well. Like, you're a better overall team. So it's like, my thing is, I just think if it's not now, when are you gonna have a better opportunity to win a final? I shouldn't say you're never gonna win it. Like, that's not like set in stone. But it's like, if it's not this year, what's the reasoning why next year that I should say, yeah, this is the year now? What's the reasoning?
I get where you're coming from, because it's like, from a roster construction perspective, we went into the season being like, on paper, this is the one. Like, this is the roster that is like, yeah, y'all really just stacked the deck. Mm-hmm. And then it played out like, dang, y'all really just stacked the deck. Like,
exactly. No Giannis. No nobody. No Jokic. Like, bro, this is it, bro. You gotta win this one, bro. I'm telling you, you gotta win this one.
Yeah, because we literally had this discussion a couple episodes being like, well, if they run into Denver and lose to Denver, then it's like, you just got caught by the best player in the world. That excuse is out the window. Like,
if I'm Tatum, I have a case to be the best player no matter who we play. If it's Jokic, you had no case. I think with Luka, you still have no case. But at least then you could be like, Luka's never won a championship before. I've at least been to a finals, and it's 22. There's no reason why I shouldn't feel like I'm better than Anthony Edwards at this point. So that's the main thing. If it's Jokic and it's the Nuggets, and y'all lose a hard fought series, because if y'all get gentleman sweep or something like that, then the discourse would have been crazy. But if y'all lose a hard fought series, fine. None of these, bro. To me, you got no excuse, bro. Y'all gotta win it.
Yeah, it's no matter what happens, the discourse is gonna be, if they don't win, it's gonna be nasty. Even if it's hard fought or not, whatever happens, like, it's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be no matter what happens from here on out. The discourse around Luka and Ant and Gobert and it's about to get nasty on Twitter, bro. It's about to get nasty, bro.
Listen. Them lookalikes gonna be everywhere.
Oh,
there was an Ant one. There was an Ant one at halftime that I seen.
Bro. Somebody posted at halftime. The dude with the belt.
Yeah,
bro. Where do these people be coming from? Yes. Where do y'all find these lookalikes at?
Bro, I see the album. Yo, I'm mad I didn't check Twitter at halftime, because I would have sent it to you if I see it. I seen it after the game because people was posting at halftime thinking it was over. Bro, I was crying. I'm like, bro, how do y'all just have these on deck ready to go? How do y'all have them, bro?
Like, dudes got to be deep on Twitter or TikTok or something. They just like scroll and be like, yo, that kind of looked like so-and-so player. And then just bookmark. And they just ready, whatever they have a sticker, they got it on lock.
That's how it, bro. Because I see, bro, mind you, this is regular season, like January type. I be seeing dudes be like, let so and so have a bad game,
Right.
and it'd be the video of somebody like this. So they really do that. Like they'll see the player, but oh, this look like Ant. Boom. I
Right.
bet. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the day he have a bad game in the playoffs. Boom, and then they post that. Like it's hilarious though. I'll be honest. It's funny every single time I see it. I be seeing the same ones. It was you saw the Jalen Brunson one. Did you see
You
that
do
one?
with the towel, bro.
Yes. Oh
Or
my
like, I
god,
feel like if you're one of those people that get hit with the lookalike, like your social media is up. You definitely are getting mad interactions and engagement just off of that.
bro,
Like you said, I know that Tatum lookalike dude. He probably gassed. He gassed
bro,
because he know one bad Tatum game between now and the finals is bound to happen. He
for
blowing up
sure,
that night. He is
for sure.
blowing up that night. So going crazy on Twitter,
I,
bro.
I told you he be playing into it, bro. I started crying when he posted himself. My bad, y'all. That was me, not Tatum, and it was just him just dancing. Like, bro, what are you doing, bro? Why are you even playing into it? It's
Yo,
just
bro,
hilarious.
tomorrow, like somebody probably gonna find a Michael Porter Jr. looking like they gonna be on him, bro.
You think they're gonna do a Jokic one? Because he ain't really play bad, but like, just do it at this. I want somebody to do it because I just want to see if somebody can pull a Jokic looking like. I want to see
Somebody
it.
gonna find it somewhere, bro.
Somebody.
Somebody gonna find it. It's
The
gonna
Jamal Murray one is everywhere though. The Jamal Murray one's all over the
Jamal
place.
Murray one is crazy, bro. It's crazy. Oh my
That's
god.
hilarious.
Um, the Eastern Conference Finals tips off on Tuesday. I'm sad because we're reaching the point now where we're not getting a game every night. We're
Yeah.
reaching the point where only sport that's about to be on is baseball.
Nah, yeah, nah.
Like I'm so WNBA is saving it right now. It's saving it right now.
Yeah, I said WNBA
It's-
been lit.
It can't be. It can't be that the NBA season is winding down already. It feel like it flew by. It's really, bro. This is the first season where we really like start to finish covered the whole season.
I know, that's crazy. And
Wow.
it did fly by, which is wild.
Yeah. I think that means then they said on the broadcast. I think it says it's gonna be every other night for the conference finals. So maybe it's a Thursday start to the Western Conference Finals. If not, then it'll probably be Wednesday. Either way, bro, both of these series I think are going to be exciting in different ways. Like I said, I don't think the Pacers Celtics one. Neither of us think that one is going to be particularly close, but I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think you're going to have the Pacers at least get one or two. But Mavs Wolves, I'm very excited for the coaching schematic matchups in that one because I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth adjustments between Jason Kidd and then the combination of Mike Norrie and Chris Finch, whatever they got going on there, how they've been working with that. And we didn't even talk about that, bro. Shout out to Mike Norrie to pull this off in these type of circumstances. Well, he had like 2 or 3 days. Well, I guess the Nuggets went 5. So he probably had like 4 days notice to be like, no, you are coaching the team now because Chris Finch just tore his patella tendon or something on some freak accident.
He's gonna be a head coach eventually. Then
No, he just got
off
a
this
bag.
alone. Yeah.
He just got a bag
Hey,
for this series.
at Lakers, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at
Remember
it.
JJ?
I don't want to do the first time head coach stuff, bro. I really don't. First time coach in general. I just think there's gonna be bro got a podcast. It has a podcast with LeBron. Like it's just gonna be too much. Like
Horrible look, bro. That'd be a horrible look.
it's a bad. Are you gonna keep doing the podcast? Are you gonna keep responding to people on Twitter? I don't want to do this the social media coach, bro. I don't.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest. I'd rather JJ just keep doing what he's doing, get his bag, record his vids. Like I'd rather him just do that, bro. I don't because unless you just stop all of it, which I don't think he'll do, especially the one with LeBron. I don't think it's gonna work, bro. I'd rather you just get somebody else, to be honest.
Yeah, he should go somewhere like Charlotte. Even
Yeah,
though I
nobody
necessarily
cares.
want to touch that situation, but like still, you want go somewhere young where it's like you could have a leash. Clearly, we've seen it's no leash in LA. Do not be no first time guy is gonna be an easy scapegoat.
And listen, as soon as stuff go wrong, it's gonna be that problem. My coach want to be on the podcast. My coach want to da 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 da. Like, This is for you, JJ. Don't even do it, bro. Do not do it. Do not do it.
And that's all the Lakers LeBron talk y'all gonna get out of all this out of us. This ain't first take.
Nah,
We in the middle of the playoffs. We ain't gonna spend that much time
no,
on that.
we not doing that. I don't
Yeah.
even. No, I'm straight. I'm the Lakers fan. I don't want to talk about them.
Right. It's not worth it at all.
By the
Um,
way, it's gonna be every day. As far as the games, just because it's back to back or not back to
okay,
back,
so
but like
it's gonna
it's
alternate.
yeah, exactly. So it's
Oh,
gonna
so
be like
maybe he just was saying that it's a 1 day break in between. I think it was Kevin Harlan on the broadcast saying it's gonna be like 1 day in between each one. So he might just have the 1 day rest.
for every yeah. That's interesting because even when they go to like after game two, they're still gonna only have 1 day, I guess, which is
Really?
I mean, this is just I'm just on Google looking up the game, so like
Yeah.
it could change. I don't really know, but as of now, it's like tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like it's just every other day.
That's tough because Minnesota to Dallas that's a trip. Like Indiana to Boston is a little shorter, but like,
Yeah, Minnesota
bro,
to
when you think
Dallas.
about it, Minnesota don't got no business being in the Western Conference. Like they are on the
That is true.
eastern half of the United States. Granted, all things considered, if you just drew a straight line, Dallas kind of is too, but like it's Texas. I can accept that. But either way,
Mhm.
like you got to go all the way south, all the way north. That's a big flight, big change. And I'm pretty sure a time change difference too, if I'm not mistaken. I think Minnesota is in Eastern time, Dallas is in Central time. So it's like that's tough to do on a 1 day switch. But
That is, yeah,
I get it. I know the NBA had like the start of the NBA Finals day is already set, so it's like they can't dilly dally. They gotta hit that window.
copy.
But yeah, Game 7 today. Unfortunate that the first one didn't get to live up to the historic heights of being a playoff Game 7 because of the injuries. But man, who even care about that? Because the second one did. It was all of that and more, bro.
I'm so happy. I picked Nuggets in 7, and I wanted the Timberwolves to win so bad. I was so happy, bro. I don't
Once
even
I was
go
about to say
ahead,
once that fourth quarter hit, bro, I was a Timberwolves fan basically, and
bro.
I had Nuggets in 7. I don't even care, bro.
Bro, I knew I had a feeling that they were gonna win as soon as Anthony Edwards hit the three before the fourth. I was like, oh yeah, that's the momentum. That's all the momentum they need. And he started screaming after. I was like, oh yeah, they about to tee up. Like they're about to really pull this off, which is crazy to come back on the road, young team. I shout out to them, man. That was fun. That was a good game for sure,
You peep Jay McDaniels trying to do a self lob at the end.
bro. Disrespectful, because bro, what are we doing here? You're not gonna dribble out the clock, bro. Trying to do a self lob on somebody like that. That was funny. That's just them being a young team though. But
Also,
that's
I gotta watch back. I think it was Michael Porter Jr., so I want to double check to be sure. But I think with like 30 seconds left, like, I was a little confused why they didn't just immediately foul and then started fouling after Denver. But like, I think I saw Michael Porter Jr. start untying his shoes and stuff. It's like that's not a good look, bro. Especially when you had the game that you had.
exactly, yeah.
That would piss me off if I was Jamal Murray or Jokic or Aaron Gordon or somebody else. Like, nah, bro, you don't get to do that, bro. That's the type of little stuff that would get me tight.
That's facts.
Um, with that though, that's gonna wrap up. It ain't even an episode, but instant reactions because cinema today, peak hoops, peak
Literally,
hoops. Um, if you're still in the stream, make sure you drop a like on it before we wrap it up. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel, follow us on the socials at Off the Glass Pod on Instagram, at Off the Glass Podcast on TikTok. We're gonna be coming at you with content continually all the way throughout the playoffs with stuff just like this. Because if games are crazy, I ain't waiting till the next day no more to get my thoughts off. I'm logging on. I don't care if it's midnight. I'm logging on. I'm getting it off. So y'all keep tuning into the live streams. But that's gonna do it for us. As always, I'm Billy. That's Dame, and we out. Peace.